the soul. Marcus, Seneca, Epictetus, they all began their days not with reaction, but reflection. Imagine this. Before the city stirs, before the notifications arrive, you sit with yourself in stillness. You breathe. You remember that peace is not found, it is made. That strength does not come from control over others, but from mastery of your own mind. The Stoics called this self-rule, the ability to govern your inner world before the outer one begins. When you start your day grounded in awareness, the world cannot shake you so easily. The noise remains, but you move through it like calm water. The Stoics believed your first act of the day is a declaration, not to the world, but to your soul. When you open your eyes, you're not just waking your body, you're awakening your character. Will you rise in frustration or rise in peace? Will you let the day command you, or will you lead it with intention? These are quiet questions, but they shape everything. A Stoic morning is not about perfection, it's about alignment. Your thoughts, your purpose, your actions moving together as one. So what if you began each day as Marcus Aurelius did, grounded, unshaken, and calm? What if your first thought wasn't about what's missing, but what's already here? You would rise differently. You would walk through your day differently. You would speak, act, and breathe with quiet strength. And in a world built on distraction, that kind of peace would make you powerful. This is where our journey begins, the art of the Stoic morning. Every morning, the world awakens in a rush. The streets fill with motion, the screens glow before the sun, and our thoughts begin sprinting long before our feet leave the bed. We live in an age addicted to speed, a world that measures worth in productivity, not peace. Somewhere along the way, we lost the sacredness of mornings. What was once a quiet invitation to start anew has become an alarm, a checklist, a race. Yet, beneath all the noise, there is still a soft, ancient truth waiting to be remembered, that the first hour of your day belongs to your soul. We open our eyes and scroll before we breathe. Our fingers move faster than our minds. We reach not for purpose, but for distraction, and in that simple act, we hand over our peace. We chase calm through chaos, we look for silence in sound, and we search for clarity while our minds are cluttered. The Stoics understood this paradox long before the modern world existed. They saw that the struggle was never outside, not in the cities, not in the noise, but within the heart that fails to be still. To find calm, they didn't escape life, they learned to live differently within it. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, ruled the most powerful empire in the world, yet his greatest victories were invisible. He fought battles within himself every morning, balancing duty with serenity. Seneca, the statesman and writer, lived amidst wealth and politics, yet preached simplicity, reminding us that it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. And then there was Epictetus, born a slave, who owned nothing but his thoughts, and in mastering them became freer than most kings. These men lived in different worlds, but they shared one truth. Power begins not with conquest, but with control of the self. What you are about to learn are not mere habits or morning hacks. These are 10 Stoic rules, not for success, but for clarity, courage, and calm. They are the principles that shaped emperors, writers, and thinkers across centuries. They teach us that the first hour of the day is not for reacting to life, but for preparing to live it fully. Each rule is a seed, small, simple, but capable of growing into peace, strength, and meaning if you nurture it. These are not things you do, they are ways of being. Think of this not as another self-help routine, but as a return, a journey back to what you've always known, deep down. That the quality of your morning determines the quality of your mind, and the quality of your mind shapes the quality of your life. When you begin with intention, the day bends in your favor. When you begin with noise, the day takes you hostage. The Stoics knew this truth intimately. How you begin determines how you live. And so each dawn became a quiet ceremony, a reminder that peace, discipline, and purpose are choices renewed every morning. As the light begins to break across the horizon, let this be your reminder too. You are not at the mercy of the world's chaos. You have the power to shape your mornings, and in doing so, shape your days, your years, and your life. So take a breath. Let the noise fade. Watch the sun rise not just in the sky, but within you. For now, as the Stoics once did, we begin with awareness. Every morning we inherit two worlds, one outside, one within. The outside world demands attention, urgency, noise. The inner world, however, whispers softly, asking only for presence. Most of us rush to meet the world before greeting ourselves. We wake up and instantly surrender to messages, headlines, and comparisons. But the Stoics believed that the first act of the day should be a conversation with the soul. To wake is not merely to open your eyes. It is to return to consciousness, to reclaim the mind before it is shaped by others. Mornings are not meant to be survived. They are meant to be sacred. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in his Meditations, "At dawn, when you rise unwillingly, have this thought ready: I am rising to the work of a human being." These words hold a quiet power. They remind us that our mornings are not burdens, but opportunities. To live with intention, to rise with purpose. The Stoic morning was not about perfection or performance. It was about grounding. The emperor, the slave, and the philosopher all began the same way, by mastering the self before meeting the world. Their discipline was their freedom, their simplicity, their strength. In today's world, we seek motivation from screens and strength from noise, yet the Stoics found both in stillness. They did not rush toward the day. They welcomed it calmly and deliberately. Seneca would begin his mornings reflecting on time, reminding himself that every day lost to distraction was a piece of life gone forever. Epictetus taught that our first thoughts must not be of what we lack, but of what we can control. And Marcus, amidst war and politics, reminded himself to be kind, patient, and steady, no matter what awaited him beyond his chamber doors. We too can begin that way. The Stoic morning is not about changing your schedule. It's about changing your state of mind. You can be surrounded by noise and still be centered. You can wake to 1,000 problems and still begin with peace. It begins by returning to yourself, by remembering that you are not your thoughts, but the observer of them. Before you touch your phone, touch your breath. Before you check the world, check your spirit. These small acts of awareness are not small at all. They are acts of power. So as the sun rises and spills light across the silent world, take a moment to be still. Let gratitude fill the spaces where anxiety once lived. Let intention guide the hands that once reached for distraction. Imagine beginning your day like Marcus Aurelius did, grounded, unshaken, calm. The world will still demand, still rush, still pull, but you will no longer move with it unconsciously. You will stand in the storm like a mountain in the mist, steady, silent, awake. And that is how every Stoic morning begins. Before anything else, before thoughts, before movement, breathe. Feel the quiet rhythm of life pulsing through your chest. You have been given another morning, another chance to begin again. Marcus Aurelius would rise and remind himself of this privilege. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive. Awareness is the first act of gratitude. We live surrounded by noise, yet this single realization cuts through it all. I am here. I exist. I can choose. You don't need to check the world first. Check your breath. You don't need to scroll through noise. Scroll through your mind. Before doing, be aware. The world races nowhere, yet demands you run with it. Seneca warned of this centuries ago. People are frugal with money, but waste their lives. Each morning we hurry as if time will disappear, but rushing steals more than it saves. True calm is not laziness. It is mastery of pace. Drink your coffee slowly. Move with intent. The Stoics knew that stillness within action is the mark of wisdom. The calm mind moves the strongest. When you slow down, time expands. When you hurry, life collapses into fragments. Slowness creates strength. The Stoics did not fear difficulty. They prepared for it. Each morning they imagined the storms that might come. Delays, insults, losses, pain. But they did not dwell in fear. They trained for composure. This practice Premeditatio malorum was their mental armor. When you visualize struggle calmly, you strip it of surprise. Expecting hardship doesn't invite it. It frees you from its tyranny. The rain will fall whether you expect it or not. Better to bring an umbrella of calm. The wise don't pray for easy days. They prepare for worthy ones. Preparedness removes fear. Epictetus taught, some things are in our control, others are not. In this single line lies freedom. Each morning remind yourself, you cannot command the weather, the news, or the minds of others, but you can govern your reactions. The inbox may overflow, the traffic may rage, the world may test you, but your peace is your responsibility. The calm within you is not fragile, it is forged. The Stoics understood that mastery begins at the edge of reaction. Control begins where reaction ends. Choose your response, and you remain unshaken. Before chasing what's next, honor what already is. Seneca said, nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart. The Stoics began with thanks, for breath, for warmth, for another sunrise. In our modern world, ambition drowns appreciation, but gratitude is not weakness. It's alignment. It reminds the mind that abundance already exists. When you start your morning in thanks, your goals become acts of joy, not desperation. Feel the light on your skin, the air in your lungs, the ground beneath your feet. Gratitude grounds the spirit before ambition moves it. There is a silence deeper than sound. It lives within you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, nowhere can man find peace more untroubled than within his own soul. In stillness, the world slows enough for truth to appear. 5 minutes of silence can restore what hours of noise destroy. Sit, breathe, listen, not to the world, but to yourself. The Stoics did not run from silence. They entered it as a temple. In that quiet, strength refills, wisdom sharpens, calm returns. Silence is not empty, it's full of answers. The Stoics trained their bodies as extensions of their minds. Musonius Rufus taught that virtue grows through effort. A cold morning, a tired muscle, a focused breath, these are teachers. Discipline isn't punishment, it's proof of self-respect. The body obeys what the will commands. In the sweat of discipline lies the seed of freedom. When you push your limits, you remind yourself that comfort is a choice. Every deliberate movement tells the soul, I am in control. Your body trains your will. Before you face the world, face your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not for others, but for himself, to see his own mind clearly. A morning journal isn't a ritual of productivity, it's a mirror for the soul. Write what you're grateful for. Write what you intend to do. Write what you must release. The Stoics believed that reflection transforms emotion into wisdom. Each word anchors awareness. Each line is a lesson. To write is to slow the storm. Write to see your thoughts clearly. Each sunrise carries a quiet truth. It may be your last. To remember death is not morbid, it is awakening. The Stoics reminded themselves daily of mortality, not to fear it, but to live fully. You could leave life right now, Marcus wrote. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. When you hold mortality close, trivial worries vanish, petty anger dissolves. What remains is clarity, urgency to love, to act, to be kind. You will die, so live deliberately. The Stoics did not live for themselves alone. Virtue, they taught, is the harmony between self and service. Marcus ruled for his people, Seneca wrote to uplift others, Epictetus taught to free minds. Each morning they asked, how can I serve today? In a world obsessed with self, service becomes rebellion. Kindness, patience, and understanding are acts of quiet heroism. When your actions rise beyond your ego, peace follows naturally. A morning lived for others is a day already won. Every lesson the Stoics taught returns to one truth. Mastery of the self comes before mastery of the world. You cannot command the winds, but you can steady your sail. You cannot silence the world, but you can quiet your mind. The Stoics didn't seek to control life's events. They sought to control their response to them. Marcus Aurelius faced the chaos of an empire, yet wrote in stillness. Epictetus lived in chains, yet taught freedom of thought. Seneca stood amidst politics and loss, yet found laughter in fate. They proved that peace isn't found in the world's order, but in the soul's discipline. Every morning we are given a smaller version of life itself, a new beginning, a quiet chance to start again. The dawn is a rehearsal for rebirth. The light that touches the horizon is the same light that waits within you. You can begin again, not because the world changes, but because you do. The Stoic morning is not about perfect control. It is about conscious renewal. You rise not to conquer the day, but to align with it, to meet it on your own terms. Calm and aware, Marcus wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. These words are the foundation of every Stoic act. Life will test you, distract you, pull you into storms, but the mind, once trained, becomes an anchor. Epictetus reminded us, we suffer not from events, but from our judgment of them. Pain is real, but suffering is choice. Seneca taught, he who has peace within laughs at fate. That laughter, that serenity in the face of chaos, is the sound of wisdom. It is the soul recognizing that nothing external can truly harm what is eternal within. The world today hums with noise and distraction. The pace has changed, but the struggle is ancient. What the Stoics practiced in Rome, we still seek in New York, London, or Karachi. Inner peace. Our tools are brighter, our buildings higher, but our minds remain restless. Yet the solution has never changed. It is not in escaping the world, but in returning to the self. The Stoic morning is not outdated. It is eternal, because stillness, gratitude, and awareness are not trends. They are truth. Imagine the morning wind brushing your face, the sound of distant birds, the hum of a city that has not yet fully awakened. In that soft in-between, you stand as the Stoics once did, aware, calm, unhurried. The Stoic morning isn't about controlling life. It's about surrendering to what's real. It's about meeting the day without armor, only presence. When you rise slowly, breathe deeply, and see clearly, you are no longer a victim of time. You are a companion of it. Each morning is not a test of perfection, but a call to virtue. You don't need to be a philosopher to live like one. You only need to be awake, truly awake to your choices. Kindness, patience, gratitude, and discipline, these are your morning prayers, your daily rituals of peace. The Stoics did not live flawless lives. They lived intentional ones, and that is what makes their wisdom eternal. So when the next dawn arrives, may you not rise in a hurry, but in harmony. May your mornings be unshaken, your thoughts calm, your heart steady. For every sunrise is a reminder you are alive, you are capable, you are free. The world will come as it always does, but how you meet it is your art. And that art, as the Stoics knew, begins anew every morning. Every sunrise carries a lesson that the Stoics understood deeply, that life, like the morning, begins again each day. You may not control the sun's rising or the storms that follow, but you can decide how you greet them. Self-mastery is the quiet revolution the world never sees the moment you choose calm over chaos, presence over panic, awareness over autopilot. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor, wrote to himself each morning not to rule others better, but to rule his own mind. Epictetus, once a slave, found in discipline a freedom no chains could steal. Seneca, surrounded by power and politics, learned to laugh at fate. They all began with the same realization. You cannot master the world until you master yourself. In truth, every morning is a small rebirth. The darkness fades, the light returns, and so does your chance to begin again. The Stoics saw dawn as a sacred invitation to live with clarity, not control. To meet the world, not escape it. You have power over your mind, not outside events, Marcus reminded us. These words remain as urgent now as they were 2,000 years ago. Technology, pace, distraction, they've all evolved, yet the mind's struggle remains the same. What they practiced in Rome, we still seek in our cities today, peace that cannot be shaken by circumstance. So when you rise tomorrow, don't rush toward the noise. Feel the still air, the first warmth of light, the quiet beat of your heart. Remember that the Stoic morning isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about beginning gently, with awareness, before the world begins demanding. And when the next dawn arrives, rise not in hurry, but in harmony, steady, thankful, and unbroken. For the sun will rise again, and so will you. Peace doesn't come from the silence outside, but from the stillness inside. This is the lesson the Stoics carried through centuries, that true calm is not found in escaping the noise of the world, but in mastering the voice within it. Every morning, you have a choice, to react or to reflect, to rush or to rise. The Stoic path is not about perfection, but awareness. It's about beginning the day with gratitude for what already is, discipline for what must be done, and reflection for what can be improved. Awareness, gratitude, discipline, reflection. These are not morning habits. They are daily acts of self-respect. The Stoics didn't chase perfect mornings. They created peaceful ones. They did not wait for life to slow down. They learned to move calmly through its storms. Marcus began each day by reminding himself of the gift of life. Seneca practiced stillness amid chaos. Epictetus taught that even in chains, one could be free, if the mind remained steady. And now, you have the same chance. You can begin your day as they did, not with anxiety, but intention, not with rush, but rhythm. The Stoic morning isn't something you find. It's something you build, one breath, one thought, one act at a time. So as the sun rises again and spills across your world, take a moment to pause. Breathe deeply. Remember the rules. Be aware. Be slow. Be grateful. Be still. Be kind. And above all, begin within. If this message resonates with you, subscribe to the Stoic Journal and join a community of thinkers, dreamers, and seekers, learning to live with clarity and calm. Leave your reflection below. What's one Stoic habit you'll begin tomorrow? Because wisdom grows when it's shared, and peace expands when it's practiced. Thank you for watching the Stoic Journal, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. May your mornings be calm, your thoughts be kind, and your soul remain unshaken. The sun will rise again, and so will you.